Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a concept that sounds a little weird, maybe. Self-eating.
Hey, yeah, it does sound a bit strange at first.
But it's actually really profound and vital for, well, for you.
Exactly. We're talking about autophagy. Comes from the Greek for self-eating, and it's basically your cell's core recycling program. It's highly conserved.
Conserved meaning it's fundamental, it's been around a long time.
Precisely. Think of it like the cell's cleanup crew and recycling plant rolled into one. It meticulously breaks down and reuses old, damaged stuff.
Stuff like what?
Oh, misfolded proteins, organelles that aren't working right, even invading pathogens sometimes. It's all about keeping the cell balanced and clean.
So it's not just about surviving when things get tough. It's about, like, daily maintenance. Keeping things running smoothly.
That's a huge part of it, but its regulation is absolutely key. If it goes wrong, uh-oh.
Uh-oh, how?
Well, dysregulation, things not working right, can contribute to some really serious conditions. We're talking neurodegenerative diseases, think Alzheimer's, Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Also cancer, metabolic diseases. It's deeply involved in both health and disease. It needs to be just right.
Okay, so our mission today is to really get into how this ancient process isn't just background noise, but might actually hold, I don't know, keys to better health, maybe even longer life.
That's the goal. It's a fascinating story of how cells protect themselves, how that can go wrong, and how we might be able to sort of tweak it for therapeutic benefit.
Where did this idea even come from? How do we figure this out?
Well, the term autophagy was coined back in 1974 by Christian Duvet. He saw lysosomes, the cell's recycling centers, doing something. But the big leap forward, that came much later, 1993. Yoshinori Osumi figured out the key genes involved, the ATG genes, by studying yeast. That really cracked it open, moved it from just observing to understanding the how.
And that work won him the Nobel Prize.
Yep. In 2016, it totally transformed the field.
So, okay, the cell recycles. But you mentioned different ways it does this. It's not just one method.
Correct. There are a few types. The most studied one is macroautophagy. Think of that as like the bulk waste removal system. It uses a special double membrane, an autophagosome, to engulf big chunks of stuff.
Big chunks like whole organelles.
Exactly, like a worn-out mitochondrion. Then there's microautophagy, which is more direct. The lysosome membrane itself sort of nibbles bits directly from the cytoplasm.
Okay, bulk and nibbling. Is there anything else?
Yes, and this one's really interesting. Chaperone-mediated autophagy, or CMA. It's highly selective.
Selective how?
It targets specific proteins, ones with a particular tag, you could say, and it takes them directly across the lysosome membrane, no vesicle needed. It's like precision quality control.
So, housekeeping, energy, how does this connect directly to, us, our overall health?
It's absolutely fundamental. It's the cell's main way to clear out the really tough stuff, those big protein clumps, damaged organelles, that other systems, like the proteasome, just can't handle.
So it stops the cell from filling up with junk.
Pretty much. It's guarding against toxic buildup, and it's also a recycling factory. It breaks things down into amino acids, fatty acids, building blocks the cell can reuse for energy or repair. Super important when nutrients are low.
Like during fasting.
Exactly like fasting. And this links directly to aging. Autophagy efficiency tends to decline as we get older, which likely contributes to age-related cellular problems.
But boosting it might help slow that down.
That's the thinking, yes. Activating autophagy seems key for promoting health span, maybe even lifespan.
Okay, essential cleaner, recycler, linked to aging. But I've also heard it called a double-edged sword. How?
Right. That's where it gets complex, especially with disease. In diseases like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, it seems clear. Impaired autophagy is bad. It lets toxic proteins and damaged bits pile up in neurons.
And neurons are sensitive to that.
Very. So here, boosting autophagy looks like a good strategy, but then you get to cancer. And it's complicated. Early on, autophagy can act as a tumor suppressor. It cleans up damaged cells before they turn cancerous. Good, right?
Sounds good.
But in tumors that are already established, cancer cells can actually hijack autophagy. They use it to survive stressful conditions like low oxygen or when chemo drugs hit them. It helps them resist treatment.
Wow, so it can help cancer survive. That's tricky.
Very tricky. It's a huge challenge for developing treatments. It's also involved in metabolic diseases, diabetes, fatty liver disease, and even in how we fight infections, sometimes helping us, sometimes helping the bugs.
So given this power, this complexity, how are scientists trying to, control it? Can we use drugs?
We're trying. There are drugs that activate it. Things like rapamycin, which inhibits mTOR, or metformin, an AMPK activator. These pathways are key regulators.
Yeah.
And conversely, drugs that inhibit it, like chloroquine, are actually used in some cancer trials to try and stop cancer cells from using autophagy to survive.
But are they specific enough?
That's the challenge. We need more specific, more potent agents, ideally ones that don't have lots of side effects. The research is ongoing.
What about things we can do? Lifestyle stuff. You mentioned fasting.
Yes, and this is really powerful. Lifestyle factors are major autophagy inducers. Fasting is a big one. Even intermittent fasting, like 12, 16 hours, starts to ramp it up. Longer fasts, 24, 48 hours, give a more sustained boost.
And exercise.
Exercise, too, especially things like high-intensity interval training, HIIT, calorie restriction also works. These are things pretty much anyone can access, you know?
So maybe these lifestyle approaches are, in a way, better or more fundamental than waiting for a perfect drug.
It's a really interesting question. They seem to provide a more, let's say, systemic or balanced activation. Definitely powerful tools for health maintenance.
And what's next? Any cutting-edge stuff?
Definitely. People are working on technologies to target autophagy much more precisely, things called ATEX or AUTEX. The idea is to basically tag specific disease-causing proteins or organelles for autophagic destruction.
Like sending a specific piece of trash directly to the recycling bin.
Exactly. It's heading towards more personalized approaches, understanding individual needs.
So wrapping up, autophagy is this incredibly dynamic, tightly controlled process. It's really orchestrating so much of cellular life, how cells adapt, how they survive.
It absolutely is. It's fundamental. And as we learn more about this really intricate dance happening inside our cells, you have to wonder, can getting really precise control over this ancient self-eating process be the key? Not just for treating disease, but for, unlocking totally new ways to boost our health, our resilience, maybe even extending how long we live well.
A huge question. Definitely something to think about. Keep exploring this vital process, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.